Okay, so now we are on live. How's everyone doing today? Good?
Good.
Really good.
Awesome. So we're going to start off with, so our webinar presentation today is on inquiry in math. Keontae and I will be leading this webinar. So just kind of setting the stage for our learning, we are going to start off with an icebreaker. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on the link in the presentation, and that link will guide you to a Google Drawing spreadsheet or worksheet. And what you're going to do is we've already given you the assigned groups, and we've also assigned game boards for the groups. So just follow the arrows, and what we want you guys to do is just to okay.
Solving the questions before you put either your X or your O.
Yeah. So it's a game of tic-tac-toe. We can share that if you want to share that on, just so we see. So just if you look at Keontae's over here screen, do you see it? Does everybody see it?
Yeah.
If you click on Keontae's screen.
Yeah.
So, okay, awesome.
So
we have
seconds to play.
So you take your time, play some tic-tac. That's our icebreaker.
How do I get to the presentation?
You click on the link in the presentation.
She sent it on Gmail.
On Gmail?
Yeah.
And to your Facebook also.
Okay.
No, I didn't see the Facebook one.
Morgan, I'll be X.
Okay.
Oh, wait,
Okay, Annie, I think I've gotten, I'll take O's. I think I went.
Okay.
If you want to go.
Sure.
I still can't. Elisa, can you send me the slideshow through Facebook chat between me and you?
Just give me 1 second.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, I see.
So if we move on a square, are we supposed to answer the mathematical question? Or?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I'm on a group presentation online, yes? Okay, bye.
It's a tie.
It's a tie? Is that?
Yeah.
How did you feel about it? You liked it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. We had the easy question
Yeah, I noticed.
compared to everyone else. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm kind of stuck.
Okay.
Use your calculator.
Time to finish it, or
I guess I'm using a.
Yeah, I think we tied. So we can go on if you think.
And Morgan, did you get a chance to play around with it a bit?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Mhm.
Okay.
This is gonna be a tie. It's a tie.
So we're going to turn our attention back to the presentation, and we're just going to have kind of a consolidation about the icebreaker. So what did you think of the activity? What did you notice about it?
I liked how it was very interactive.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Yes, interactive
Anybody else?
game that we were all familiar with.
Colleen?
Sorry, did you want us answering the icebreaker questions? So like, were there multiple answers for the questions?
No.
Sorry, we're just saying,
Right now, what did you notice?
what did you like? Oh, okay. It was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I like that it was a classic game that a lot of people knew already, the rules to.
Okay, great.
And we're sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Annie? Yeah.
I liked that there you put like a different levels of difficulty, so we could adjust it depending on the grade level or skill level of the students.
Great. So were there multiple answers for the questions in those boxes?
Yes, Juliana.
There was not really multiple answers. It's kind of only one.
Mm-hmm. And what does that mean?
For inquiry, do you think it would be a good inquiry-based activity?
No.
No. Colleen, I see your hand up.
Oh no, I was just going to answer the question and say no.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't more than one way of doing it, and it was either a right or a wrong answer, so you weren't able to explore different methods, or there wasn't a different process of really coming up with a different answer.
Yeah, exactly. Morgan, we can't actually see your.
Oh, here we go. I think I figured it out.
Okay. Thanks.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So yeah, perfect. Those are the exact kind of responses that we were looking for, because we were trying to show you kind of the traditional way of doing math and the non-inquiry way of doing math, where it doesn't allow the student much to kind of think and to really understand the concepts that they're learning. So that game is a really good example of an inquiry question.
Yeah. And oftentimes you think
Of not an inquiry questions, rather. Sorry.
You think fun, and even though you guys mentioned that the activity was interesting, engaging, it still isn't an inquiry-based activity, and so steering away from it just being interesting and fun, but also making sure you're reaching for those next steps. So moving on from that, why do you think it's important to provide students with good models for inquiry? So the model that we showed you wasn't. Why do you think it's important that we show them? Morgan?
It gives them a way to start to look outside the box and solve problems in their real life.
Great. Yeah, definitely. Does anyone else want to comment on that before we move on? Okay.
So for the next activity, if you want to move on to the next slide, it is, I'll put it up here so we can all see. So this is complete. What we want you to do first is complete this question individually. So Morgan is planning a birthday party for Ingrid, her best friend. She's the head of the party committee. He has 268 balloons. How many does each person in her party committee need to blow up? So what we want you to do is, there is a link right on that presentation. It's the math board link. What we want you to do is, we want you to click on that link and start working. If you want to share your screens with us so we know what's kind of going on as well, and just start kind of answering the question in your way. So do you want to show them the link? So if we click on that link, so Keontae is clicking on the link, it'll lead you to this kind of, it's called a math board. What we want you to do is, oh, it's just loading. Sorry, internet's kind of slow here.
But if you guys are able to see it on your end, you guys can just get going with whichever tool you'd like to demonstrate your work.
Yes, because, okay, I'll go ahead and share my screen since I already have it up here. So if you can see, I've opened it up. And so the neat thing about this kind of tool is that it allows you to click on the grade levels that you need. So we'll do grade 6, and then choose a background. We'll just go with the white background, and then here, manipulatives. This is what you can use to show your work. You can use base 10 blocks, You can use, so if you use this, you can like break it up into pieces. It's pretty cool. You can also use text tool if you want to write something down, so 268 balloons as an example. You can use the pen tool if you're more comfortable drawing it. So you choose what you need to do or how you want to represent it, and then try the question on your own, and then we'll come back and we'll kind of talk about it, okay? Does that sound cool?
Yep.
Yes.
Is everyone able to access it?
Yeah.
So just
Mine's
click,
just loading.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah, if you can, just share your screens with us as well, so we know
What's going on?
what's going on, how you're probably thinking. Yes.
How do
Colleen.
we share screens
Yeah.
again?
How do we share screens?
So, I'm going to share my screen again. This one here. Yeah. Okay, it's not really- So what you're gonna do is you are going to. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go right over here. Do you see this
Oh,
little
okay.
green?
Got it. Yeah.
And then you go, and then you'll choose what screen you want to share. It sounds cool. Or good? Sorry. And we'll have the question up so you can refer to it as well.
this is a really cool tool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
I like that it's like manipulatives but online, so it's like kids would be excited about computers. Everything that's going on is making my computer go really slow. Like really, really slow. I'm trying to get it.
Okay.
Can you guys still see me?
We can.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to. I can't see Google Hangouts anymore.
Uh-oh.
Different tab? Or
You might have to-
like
Yeah.
a different window, maybe?
Try to open it up in a different window so it doesn't close it.
Okay.
So is everybody pretty much has had a chance to kind of go through the activity, or do you need a bit more time?
A little more time.
Okay.
Okay.
That's not good.
I hope I did this right.
And we'll have a chance to, I'll go over it afterwards.
Excuse me.
That's it.
Nah.
Okay, so we can see for the most part, everyone has had a chance to figure out the answer. Is that correct, or do you guys still need more time?
So is everybody finished? We're just gonna start basically talking about the question itself. So, what can you tell about the question at first sight?
We can't actually see the faces anymore since you guys aren't broadcasting the face. You guys are broadcasting your screen, which is fine. So we can just see maybe if Colleen or Eva, either one of you wanted to start sharing the way that you solved the question.
Sure, I can go first. So let me just find the screen. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay. So first, I was just wondering about how many people are in her party committee, because I think the answer will depend on the size of her committee.
Okay.
So because I didn't know that, I decided to give a number for her committee. So for the first way I solved it is if there were 4 people in her committee, each person would blow up 67 balloons, because I know that 268 divided by 4 people would be 67 balloons each. And then I also thought another easy way, if it was a small committee, if there was only 2 people in each committee, I could have 268 balloons split up by 2 people. So each person in the committee would have to cover 134 balloons.
Perfect.
And then I was going to try doing larger numbers, but I haven't got that far yet.
Okay, good.
So I took the easy ones first.
Yeah. Does anyone else want to share how they solved the question? Okay. Yeah, Juliana, if you want to go ahead.
So I'll have to turn the screenshot back on for a second.
Okay.
Because I wanted to try and use manipulatives. So I decided that there would be 10 people and kind of drew 10 boxes to represent the people, and then started with red representing 10 balloons each until I ran out of hundreds, and then did 5 for the 10s and wound up with 26 balloons each and 8 remaining.
Okay, awesome. So
what made you choose the number 10?
I thought it would be easy to divide by 10.
Okay. And Colleen, what made you choose 4?
I just figured that I knew I needed to divide something by 268 by however many people there were. So I knew that 4 went into 268 evenly, and so did 2 goes into 268 evenly. So I wanted to keep numbers even with no remainders and make sure that every person equally has the same amount of balloons to blow up.
Okay, perfect.
Great. So we can see there that there are different ways you can start tackling the question. I think, if I wasn't mistaken, Eva, you used the blocks. Do you want to
Yeah.
share with us what that was?
Sure. Let me just organize a little bit. Okay. Need to share screen. Okay. So I used the blocks, and what I did first was I actually didn't really think about how many people there are. I just wanted to see realistically how many balloons can someone actually like blow up. So 20 is a little pushing it, but I went with it anyways because it was an easier number.
Okay.
And then I first went with 200. So how many people can blow up 20 balloons to make 200? So that's 10 people. And then after that, there's 60. So then how many 20 balloons, how many people can blow up 20 balloons that make 60? So that's 3. So then I came to the conclusion of 13 like adults because there are 8 balloons left over. And then I thought it wouldn't be fair to give it to another adult to just do 8. So I was like, maybe let's just give it to the kids. So they have some kids in the committee and there are 2 kids.
That's awesome. So that's another way of looking at the person. So in reality, you're looking at how many balloons a person can really blow up without becoming overwhelmed. Yeah, that's great. And now, Ingrid, you kind of mentioned that you weren't too sure. Did you want to share with us what you have going on?
Yeah, no, it was probably just because there was no, like, if they didn't actually say how many people were in the committee. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess we can just, like, guess how many.
Okay.
And you're like, did you think of multiplying? Did you think of dividing? What did you think of when you first had to approach the
I
question?
thought of, well, dividing for sure. Yeah, definitely dividing. But I think that was, like, the biggest thing that I wasn't sure of, like, because I didn't know what to divide by.
Right.
Any other number.
And that's totally different
The
from
whole thinking on something.
Yeah, it's totally different from the traditional questions that we were used to when we were younger. Usually in question, at least I remember from my personal experience, the answers, like everything was given, and all you had to do was just plug stuff in. So you didn't really have to think about like what it meant to divide. What does that mean, and like how does that relate to a situation? So so this is what
Exactly.
free questions are really about, and one of the questions that the question that we gave you guys
Right.
really touches upon. And did you notice, like, should we share mine too as well?
Yeah.
I also tried out this question. So we're gonna share the screen with you. I tried this question out as well. Oops, where are you? Okay. So the way I approached it was similar to different ways of how you guys did it as well. So those little boxes just represent the number of people, and I took the base 10 blocks, and then I just put 67. So I assumed that. So I just counted each. That was one of the methods. Was just like counting. Just taking like 10 blocks and just counting it and trying to divide it equally among all of the 4 people. I took 4 because I thought that was like an even and easy number to kind of start off with. And yeah, that's one approach I took. Another approach would be long division, to kind of for those students who want to kind of take it a step ahead as well. So we're going to move on to the next part of just talking consolidation and reflecting on what we just kind of did. So did you notice that there were multiple answers to the question?
Are you saying Keontae?
Yeah.
Can you guys still see me? My entire screen is like blackish.
We can
hear you, but we can't see you.
Okay, I just wanted to, okay, I'm gonna restart mine, but I was gonna share what I ended up just solving it on a piece of paper because everything on my computer is not working.
Okay, that's fine. You can just follow along with us as you can if you want to participate in the discussion more so. Or you can try rebooting and joining us once it's up and working
I'm
again.
gonna reboot it.
Okay, not a problem. So yeah,
I want to say that I used the box technique for solving that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's breaking down like the 200 places, the 10 places, and realizing that each of them are I think it's a factor of 2.
Okay. The sound is cutting out
I'm
too.
gonna
So
re-
if you want to just restart it, Morgan, and join us afterwards. All right?
Bye.
Okay. So did anyone notice multiple answers to the question?
Yeah. And why is this beneficial for each learner? Why is that beneficial? Colleen?
I think it's beneficial because it allows students of different abilities to still answer the same question.
Perfect.
So I think someone who might have been weaker might have said, okay, I'm only going to make like 2 groups because they know how to divide by 2 and they know how to count by 2. So they might have chosen that solution. Whereas I think it was Eva who had the kids and the adults?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a more complex answer and more complex reasoning. So you would probably have that from a higher thinking student who's able to justify why they did everything versus someone who's not as strong, who just picked smaller numbers or quicker solution based on what they knew.
That's right. Yeah, it just allows like you said, an entry point for every learner, and it really like it helps them. It helps them in a way that so there's not one right answer. It's many right answers. Understanding is important. So and we talked about how are you representing your solutions? I mean, we already kind of touched upon that when we were looking through your solutions, but what is something that helps you in representing your solutions? Yes, Juliana?
I think it was good that the tools that we had provided had a lot of different manipulative opportunities, so everyone could kind of choose what they were most comfortable with.
Great. Yeah. So we kind of at first in the tic-tac-toe game gave you an example of what an inquiry question is not. So now we're hoping that maybe you can provide us with some pointers as to what would make a strong inquiry question based on the question we provided you with. What are some things you'd need to keep in mind when creating a strong inquiry question? Yes, Ingrid?
Keeping it like there has to be a lot of like answers, open-ended. That's the word I was trying to say, open-ended.
Great, yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah.
What do you need to consider when creating inquiry-based questions? Yes. Yeah.
The students have to be interested in the question as well. That will encourage them to do the math.
Yes.
So it has to be relatable. So for the question that we offered, we brought students into the question. So we brought Morgan and we brought Ingrid into the question. So it's relatable enough to the question in that scenario. And then Eva, did you have something to add?
That was pretty much what I wanted to say. Like, it needs to be relatable so that they know how to work with their mind, like how to play it out, like the situation.
Great. And Colleen kind of mentioned it before that you were considering what information you had, what was missing, and what you needed to do to find the answer. That has a lot to do with inquiry too. So, students are considering what they know, what they want to know, what they need to know, and how it is they're going to find that information. All of those are related to the inquiry process, especially when it comes to math as well. So we're going to move on to our next question. You guys can try to solve this. Again, you can use the tool if you want that we had in the previous question, or you can just pen and paper it if you want. It is really open to you. We do have the math board available if you'd like to.
So we're gonna let you try this on your own, and then we're gonna stop you. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna pick the same partner that you had for tic-tac-toe, and just kind of, if you want to converse with them and go through your reasoning of how you approach the question. just so you can consult somebody when you're, if you're stuck or something like that.
Yeah. Or I think actually maybe if you guys want to type out your how you guys solve the question, you can. But if you want to, we can also come together as a big group and do it that way.
Yeah,
Up
because
to you.
you're trying to find like the mechanics of doing that without
Yeah.
it just going crazy.
Can you guys see me again?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. I had to close the slideshow because I don't handle the slideshow and the Google Hangouts at the same time.
I'm just gonna connect my computer to the outlet because I think I'm gonna just to double check.
Okay, what are we working on?
It's the parallel task and inquiry. The question asking if Annie's dad drove 300 kilometers at a steady rate, how many kilometers an hour did he drive and how long did it take him? The second question is if Eva's mom drove 180 kilometers at a steady rate, how many kilometers an hour did she drive and how long did it take her? For those of you who are using the math board, if you don't mind,
There's three of us at the school and had lunch and then just got he said he wanted us to get the classroom experience. But I was like, you don't do this.
Can you,
Because you need at least one if you're.
if I press on your screen share, you get the question, right?
yeah, I have it up on my screen. If you want to, where it says Keontae, you can click on that and it'll show you the question. I have it.
I have it.
Yeah.
But I'm not supposed to be there. And so I know the things I do record.
But I can't press on it.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter.
On the math, so you can use something. If it's not working for you, Morgan, you can just pen and paper it if you want. But the link math board, if you
Yeah, but I can't see the question. So can you just read it?
Here, hold on.
Actually, like do an assessment and they can say.
Did not Morgan?
Because I know with
Facebook, I can read it off my phone.
If you're on your laptop and you are on Google Hangouts, if you click on my screen, it'll come up. The question is there. I'll read it to you if you want, though.
Now we
I can't click on anything from Google Hangouts.
But because it's so high time,
The question is
you have a better chance of getting
if Eva's mom drove 180 kilometers at a steady rate,
No. I think she just asked to see.
how many kilometers an hour did she drive and how long did it take her? I think, I'm not sure where the background noise is coming from. If we can, let's see.
I think the background noise stopped.
Yeah, that's better now. There was a lot going on there for a second.
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure if we're going to have enough time to solve, for everyone to solve the problem. I think what we're trying to show here is that these tasks are indeed parallel, one of them being slightly easier than the other. It gives, again, an entry point for all students to access the question, but they're still feeling like they're being an active participant. Again, there are multiple answers because students need to figure out, what speed they want the driver to be going at. And that will determine how long the drive takes, or alternatively, they can pick a time that they want the drive to take, and with that, they can figure out what speed the driver needs to be going for the driver to meet that requirement of the 300 kilometers or the 180 kilometers driven. So here I have a way that I solved the question, just demonstrating that you can have multiple ways of solving the same question depending on For example, if you want the driver to drive at 100 kilometers an hour versus if they drive at 10 kilometers an hour, how does that change the answer? Again, using the blocks to represent my answer. Does anyone want to share kind of the method they used or where they were starting? I'm not sure is everyone still muted or has everyone unmuted themselves?
I'm not muted.
Okay.
So does somebody want maybe to share their answers?
Sure, I'll share mine.
Okay.
So I wrote that my dad doesn't drive like super duper fast when he drives, and since 300 kilometers is really far, so he's probably going to be on the highway for the majority of the trip. So he'll be driving about 100 kilometers per hour to 120 kilometers per hour. So therefore, the whole trip will take 2.5 to 3 hours.
Awesome.
So what did you encounter when you first started the question or approached the question?
What do you mean? Like my first step?
Right.
So my train of thought was like, how fast would he actually drive, and like I guess like what sorts of road conditions? Because like local and like highway,
Great.
you drive at like different speeds, right?
So that's so parallel tasks is one way is a teaching strategy that can help you when you're thinking of creating inquiry-based questions. They are open, but they also allow different learners to an entry point as well. So that's another teaching strategy. The other one was the Math Daily Threes. Although it was kind of tricky to work with the webinar of how we could do that, but yeah, like you try it yourself, you consult with somebody else, and then you write down the mathematical sentence or something like that.
Exactly.
That's another strategy to do.
Now that you've had a chance to work with that question a bit, I'd like for you guys to create an additional question to accompany the one that you decided to answer. So as a hint I've placed here, what happens if the rate is no longer steady? Or what happens if the car stops for a certain period of time? So if you guys can go ahead and create your own inquiry question, adding some extra conditions to the question that you already attempted to answer just now.
I'm just gonna pen and paper it because.
Yeah, that's fine, Morgan. Has everyone had a chance to create their own inquiry question?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay. Once you're done, if you could just put your hand up, press to speak.
Colleen?
Sorry, I'm done. Were we
Oh.
supposed to put our hand up when we were saying we're done or no?
So would you mind sharing the question that you created?
Sure. Sorry, let me just get screen share back on again.
Yeah.
So I was going, whoops. I went off of the first question. So I basically just added that if the 300-kilometer trip consisted of 120 kilometers on the highway and 180 kilometers on a country road, how long would the trip take and what speed limits would you consider?
That's great. That's an awesome inquiry question. Does anyone else have one that they'd like to share? Morgan?
I didn't hear the entire question, but I heard parts of it before.
That's
So I
fine.
put, Annie and her dad are on a trip to Montreal. They decide to stop for an all-you-can-eat sushi for 1.5 hours. Drives 100 kilometers per hour. The stop was 2 hours into their drive. How long was the total drive? So they're probably going to have to look at how far away is Annie's house to Montreal. And I guess maybe taking on what Colleen had said, maybe I should have included speed limits. That would have been a good idea.
Or not.
You could if you want,
Because
yeah.
or not, because again, inquiry questions are about being open, right? So you can maybe let the students consider the different situations that could be they can encounter on the road, right? And have them kind of go into that. So it's your total choice. You don't have to. Leaving it as open as it can be, to a certain degree, obviously.
Yeah.
But it allows for them to really kind of grasp the concepts.
Right. So
Yeah.
we're hoping what we've been able to show a little bit is that we went and we showed you what an example of inquiry is not. You need to allow students to have experiences with inquiry questions in math so that they know what they are, they know how to maneuver themselves around them and solving the problems and asking further questions. And then also giving them an opportunity to, using questions that maybe you've provided, on top of that, ask their own inquiry questions, going deeper and considering different things that maybe they thought of while answering the question. And so what we're doing here is the gradual release of responsibility. We're scaffolding. We can't expect students to just all of a sudden be able to do inquiry in math, but if we set them up with the tools and we show them what inquiry is, we're better setting them up to be able to do that themselves.
So it's, yeah, so like Pianta says, that's scaffolding. And then when they kind of keep going into different grades, they're able to build upon the knowledge that they've already acquired and the understanding that they've already attained, right? So they're better able to understand those concepts when, those concepts get a bit more abstract rather and contextual rather than, whatever grade level they are right now.
So we have students work with inquiry questions, they create. So students define and refine their own inquiry questions. They analyze the question, so they determine what it is that they need to know about the question, and they figure out what it is they need to be able to solve it. The students figure out their reflections, so they're thinking about the different processes they've used to solve the problem, and all of this is done using scaffolding, and the end goal would be for students to be able to create their own great, interesting inquiry questions and use that to determine and deepen their understanding of the different mathematical concepts that it is that you'd like to be covering in this case. So hopefully you guys have felt engaged during this presentation. Yeah.
Also, we've also created kind of a document or something that you can refer, a learning object that you can refer to when you're thinking about inquiry questions and thinking about how to provide questions for your students. So what we've created is, let me just pull that up and share it with you, and then I'll make it available for you as well. So we've kind of created a, let me share my screen. No way. So let me share my screen if I can find it. Oh, here it is. Okay. So if we go on here, so we've created kind of like an infographic on kind of a road to inquiry in mathematics. So first we start off with identifying the key concepts. So what is it that we want them to learn? What is it learning goal? Then we have to obviously go back into the curriculum and look at the overall expectations for that grade level. And then we go down to kind of constructing this, encouraging them growth mindset, because in order to have inquiry, you need students to believe that they can do it, that they can, that they're capable and not, bad at math. And at that point, you also want to encourage mistakes in math. So because that will help them kind of, learn the concept even more.
We go in, we allow them to have experiences with open and relatable tasks, being the questions open-ended, so they have multiple solutions. Students at that point are able to discuss with each other and are able to understand that for certain mathematical questions, especially when they're inquiry-based, there are multiple answers, and that's all right. We provide students with the opportunity to create and refine their own inquiry questions, provide students with the time to understand these concepts and to reflect on them, to discuss them, and we also provide the opportunity to create alternative perspectives, again, going back to keeping those tasks open and relatable. So you guys can access this however you want. We don't want to keep you too much longer. We hope you enjoyed the presentation.
I don't know if you mentioned the last one, but provide opportunities to create alternative perspectives. Okay, so that could be just like what we had last week with the Indigenous storytelling. That could be one way of creating different aspects or showing different aspects to your different perspectives to your students. And we've added that on here as well. Oh, actually, it's not on.
Okay, yeah. So if you guys have any questions or anything else you'd like for us to take up again
or clarify?
Have some comments.
Okay,
sure,
yeah, go ahead.
You like comments?
I think that you guys provided a lot of digital resources that we can use, like the digital learning object of the virtual manipulatives. I like that you give us the opportunity to create our own inquiry questions. So we sort of practiced inquiry questions for our students in the future. And yeah, I like that.
Thank you. Anybody else have any comments or anything that they want to add? Or
good.
Okay, so that concludes our session. Hopefully you guys learned something about inquiry questions and how to incorporate inquiry into math. We're going to provide that sheet up, that learning tool for you to use. And thank you for joining us. We're going to also obviously link to You need the link to the presentation or no? The webinar or no?
I don't think so. I think you just have to upload it.
Yeah. Can we go through as a group? Like when we submit the form, do we just do it for both of you at the same time, or is it separate?
I don't know. I think maybe together.
That's what I thought, but then it said, when I went into the form, it says like your instructor, your name, leader name, first and last. So is that both or just the one?
I think it's both at the same time.
Okay, yeah, I would just put both because it's it'd be the same.
Yeah.
Who says it's separate? Who said that?
Juliana.
Oh, is it separate? Okay.
Okay. And you did. Oh, okay. So when it said grade, it's what we're giving you, not what grade you cover. Okay, gotcha. Never mind.
You just grade 6.
Okay. I was like, no, I'm not giving you grade 6. So that means you get 6 out of 10, right? That's how it goes, right? So like.
Oh God.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good.
Thank you.